electrical work and the Homestead. I wanted to go over some safety issues and things to look for if you need to get into your main breaker panel. So basically power's already been shut off. Most of these front covers have some kind of screw that holds them in place. Just take it out, pull it straight out, then you have access to everything. If you're in your main breaker panel, do not touch anything up here. This is all still 120, 240 volt power coming into your main panel. So once we're inside and we're open, we're now exposed. So take your multimeter, set it somewhere where you can see. Let's see if I can get this set up to where you can see it. You'll have a main bus bar that comes in. It'll be for your ground. You can check your first leg, nothing there. Check your second leg, nothing there. So if you come up here, you'll see we have power. Not sure if you can see that, it shows 120. And you have 120 on the same leg. So you put both of these together, you should wind up with 240. So 240 power, 150 amp service. So in order to get these breakers out, you just pry a screwdriver in there, get it to pop free, and then you have the breaker out. Okay, so with this breaker, you've got this catch. You've got this catch here, and you've got where the bus bar will attach to. So you'll want to put this side in first and then push it in place. Now I like to go ahead and attach it, but not tighten it. Just get it in there so it's snug and it won't come out. Go ahead and get it on the catch, push it in place. That's pretty much it. I covered in another video where none of the audio came through. I'll show images of what the bus bar looks like for one leg of the 120 and then the other leg of the 120. So the big thing to remember is that you want to stay away from the top half if you're in this panel. If you're in your main panel coming onto your property, stay away from the top section of that. Never mess with replacing these breakers until you have the electric company come out and completely isolate the power going off your property. Okay, some things to look for on a breaker. If you take it out, you suspect it might be bad, go ahead, take it out, look at it. Is this material, is it brittle, is it breaking apart already? When you trip it, when you turn the power off per se on it, or is it clean? Does it move back and forth with no issues? The higher amperage breakers, they'll be really hard to reset, so that's typically not an issue. But on lower amperage breakers, 20 amp, 30 amp, the 20, the 100, and the 60 shouldn't be an issue to reset. If they do trip, you typically have to take them all the way to the off position and then back to the on position in order to reset that breaker. The multimeter that I use is a large face. You only really need 3 settings on this. I typically only use the AC, DC, and then the continuity, and that's continuity is for chasing wires in case a squirrel or a mouse, a rat, whatever the situation is, got up in your attic and chewed on your wires. Then you can check for continuity, go from one end of the wire to the other end, and if you need to get a pigtail, another wire to run between it to check to verify that you do have continuity. And I've always set it up to where that's what you hear. You know that line flows all the way through. If you don't get that sound, that means that if it's a wire that runs through the attic, then more than likely you've had a squirrel or some kind of animal up there that's chewed through it. The voltmeter again that I use is it's just an X-Tech Instruments. It can be picked up off of Amazon, I think, for about 19 bucks. Like I said, you only need AC, DC, and the continuity. You don't need 100,000 different features on here, because that's the typical homeowner is not going to get into all that. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and list the link below to Amazon for the multimeter. I believe last I looked it was $19.99. And
if you like this video, hit the thumbs up.
And if you want to see more content from us on how-tos and anything related to Homestead, go ahead, subscribe, and what?
And
zap that bell.
Oh yeah, zap that bell.